My ex-husband Garrett texted me with an offer that I had to read 5 times to believe it was real. I'll give you $10,000 if you make Denver hate Sylas. Garrett and I had been divorced for 3 years, and our 12-year-old son Denver was finally happy again. Denver had been living with me full-time since the split and started laughing again when my new husband Sylas came into our lives a year ago. Garrett called before I could even figure out how to respond. Did you see my offer about that loser Sylas? Yeah, I saw it, and I can't believe you typed those words. Sylas is trying to replace me as Denver's father, and you're letting it happen. Garrett's voice had that edge that used to scare me when we were married. You're 3 months behind on your house payment. Denver loses his home if you don't take this money. That hit me hard because he was right about the house. Denver loves Sylas because Sylas actually shows up for him, unlike you. I'm his real father. Sylas is just some broke mechanic you're screwing. You can tell Denver that Sylas called him weak, or that Sylas wishes he didn't have to deal with another man's kid. I'm not going to hurt our son because you're jealous of another man. Then I guess you'll make him homeless. Garrett hung up and I stayed awake all night doing math in my head. $10,000 would get me caught up on all of our bills and keep Denver in his home and school district, but it would also break his heart. I watched Denver and Sylas throwing a baseball in the backyard the next morning and knew I couldn't destroy that. Denver finally looked like a normal, happy kid. I called Garrett while they were outside. I'm not taking your money, Garrett. You're going to lose that house and make Denver homeless because you're too proud to help me? I'm not going to hurt our son just because you hate Sylas. Sylas is a pathetic loser. Garrett's voice got nastier with each word. I bet he's touching Denver in ways that would make you sick if you knew. You're disgusting for even saying that. I'll make it $15,000. Just help me get my son back from that predator you married. I hung up and saved the recording. That night, I overheard Denver on the phone with his friend saying that Sylas was the only adult who had never made him feel like a waste of space. That made me certain I'd made the right choice, but Garrett's texts kept coming all night with new offers and threats. 2 weeks later, Garrett showed up at Denver's baseball game with a thick envelope. He grabbed my arm by the bleachers while Sylas was busy coaching. Here's $20,000 in cash if you tell Denver that Sylas hits you when he drinks and you're scared to leave. I tried to pull away, but Garrett held tighter. You want me to lie about being abused? It's not a lie if Denver believes it. Garrett's face was red and twisted with rage. I already told Denver's teacher I'm concerned about bruises and she's watching for signs. You're trying to frame Sylas for abuse? I'm trying to save my son from living with an alcoholic loser who will eventually snap. Garrett squeezed my wrist hard enough to leave marks. Take the money or I'll tell Denver you aborted his sister because you didn't want my babies anymore. My whole body went cold because Denver didn't know that I had a miscarriage. That was a miscarriage and you know it. Denver will believe whatever I tell him about why he doesn't have siblings. I secretly started recording a video on my phone. Say that threat again, Garrett. I'll tell Denver you killed his sister and that Sylas convinced you to do it. You're threatening to lie about a miscarriage to hurt your own son? I'll do whatever it takes to get that piece of trash Sylas away from my kid, even if Denver has to learn some hard truths about his mother. I took all the recordings to my lawyer who filed papers to change our custody agreement right away. The judge listened to Garrett offering money and threatening to lie about my miscarriage with her face getting darker with each word. Garrett's lawyer tried to argue it was just talk, but the judge cut him off. Your client is attempting to purchase emotional abuse of his own child. When they interviewed Denver, he broke down crying. Dad keeps telling me Sylas is using me to get to mom and that Sylas secretly hates kids, but Sylas taught me how to pitch. The judge asked Garrett if he had anything to say, and he started crying and begging. Please don't take my son away. The judge gave me sole custody and only gave Garrett 1 supervised visit a month. Garrett screamed that we were all idiots who fell for Sylas's act, but the judge told him to leave or be arrested. 6 months later, Denver asked Sylas to adopt him, which was exactly what Garrett had been trying to prevent.